Okay, welcome everybody to our Momentum Makers call today. This one we're focusing on host coaching, which is a really strong topic. Kath Bentley joining you here, and I'm also delighted to announce I'm so excited about this. I have the number one salesperson for Australia on the call. Her name is Zelia Malherbe, and she hails from the Gold Coast. Welcome, Zelia.
Thank you very much, Kath. Thanks for the opportunity.
Oh, it's my pleasure. We're just delighted to have you. And also as part of Zelia's team, her downline team, is the number one salesperson for New Zealand, and that is Jelaine Silby. Welcome, Jelaine.
Thank you, Kath.
So delighted to have you both on this call. Very special for you to come on and share. Now, some people might be looking at this and going, Kath, you just said they're the number one sellers for each country. Yes, that is correct. Well, why are we talking about host coaching? Well, I'm here to share with you that there is a direct correlation between host coaching and achieving outstanding sales. So that is why I've invited these two wonderful achievers on our call, because you have to understand the connection that host coaching gives you on so many different fronts. So first up, we're going to have a chat about why we would actually do host coaching. Do you know, like, you've booked the date, you've set the time, you've given her the party pack. Can't you just turn up on the day and everything will fall into place? Like, why isn't that the deal? But, you know, as we're realising through these calls, it is about communication and connection that is the game changer here. And host coaching is a really key element to that. Now, Jelaine, can you give us a little bit of your background for a start, please, hon? How long have you been with Norwex?
Just over 3.5 years now.
Terrific. And how many Go for the Gold trips have you achieved?
I've done 3. I've done South Africa, the cruise around the Mediterranean, and of course, just in the last couple of weeks, the beautiful Maldives.
Beautiful. Excellent. Now, in terms of achieving those trips, can you share with us what level you achieved at? Like, your beautiful husband, Tony, is it?
That's Wayne.
Yes.
You missed Wayne last time.
I'm thinking about Dawn's husband, I'm sure. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wayne, yes.
Yeah.
So you've achieved it for your husband as well?
Yeah. Not the first time. When I went to South Africa, I got level 5. Unfortunately for me, at that point in time, team building wasn't my strong point, and I just didn't have enough qualifieds. I had sales to get a couple of levels higher, but I didn't have the qualified. So therein lay a lesson for me going forward. When it came to the cruise, I actually got level, I think it was 8, which was the upgraded accommodation, which was absolutely fantastic. And this year also I think it was level 8. That was the one where we got the overwater bungalow.
Yeah, brilliant, lovely. Jelaine, I'm just wondering, in terms of your journey with Norwex and your success that you've had, and the reason that we're on this call today, can you tell me why you choose to do host coaching?
Sure. Look, Kath, you know, it maximises the outcome of the party. Host coaching is essential for that. If we want to gain the results, we need to put that time and effort in prior. Because, you know, when it comes to our parties, we want good numbers of people there. We want good sales. We want good bookings. And, of course, we want potential team members. It's just a flow-on effect, you know, for one leads to the other. And if we haven't started at the grassroots level, we're probably going to be disappointed with those outcomes. You know, it starts, I believe that, you know, we need to create a good rapport with our host, because at the end of the day, she's the platform for us sharing our mission. She's opening up her home, she's gathering her friends together, and she's allowing us to come in and share our passion and everything that Norwex stands for. So our hosts are key and they're gold, and we need to really treasure those. I'll start planting seeds before I've even got the booking for the next host. So while I'm presenting, I'm usually scouting about for who I think would make really good hosts. and of course help the current host to get those rewards.
Mm.
I have to say I'm not always right. Sometimes people that I think or I know would throw an amazing party just won't, and there's nothing I can say to change their mind. And sometimes people that I would never have perhaps imagined do put their hands up, and they'll throw a really good party. So yeah, I start having a look. I start planting a few seeds. So one thing that I'll quite often do is I might, if the previous host from the party that's been booked is there, I'll get her to share her experiences with, her rewards, what she's got out of it, how easy it was, how much fun it was. And often it just puts people at ease because, people do get a little scared sometimes about what the whole party thing involves.
Sure.
Then I can let potential hosts know what they can receive, what the rewards are. So I don't always do a rewards stack as such. I used to do that, but I just find that sometimes, time is a bit of an issue, and that does take time.
Mm-hmm.
But I will always thank all the guests that are there for their orders and let them know that it has resulted in really good sales, and our host of the day can have all of these rewards, and I'll go through them all and I'll list them all. And I'll say a little bit about each thing. And people just, they do. Their eyes open really wide, and they're pretty wowed by that. And just to let a potential host know that she too can have all of those things.
Mm.
And another thing I might do is just pop, when I do get those hosts for the next party, I'll pop a thank you card in with their order, just to help build that rapport, just to let them know that, I'm working for them, and it's kind of a relationship that we nurture.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thanks, Ghislaine. Look, the why is key as to why you do your host coaching, because it delivers that strong outcome from your party. As you said, it's that connection and that service that you are to your host, which I love your mindset around this. I love your perspective that you're sharing with us, that you're there to serve the host, and the host is serving us by sharing the mission as well. Of course, there are sales involved. Of course, there are, income, there is all host rewards, there's a what's in it for me, no doubt.
Sure.
But let's be clear, at the end of the day, we are here to share our mission. It is the impact that we make by radically reducing those chemicals that really is at the basis of what we do. And, serving our hosts is what that delivers as well.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Ghislaine. Now, Zilly, you're a little bit different in terms of your experience with Direct Sell or Party Plan previous to Norwex. So why do you host coach?
So as Ghislaine said, also, it's about building that relationship with them. But also, I think we forget that people don't necessarily know how to host a party. So, especially for those of us who've been doing this for a while, we live, eat and breathe Norwex, right? So people should just know how to have a party, but they don't. And my experience was, before having a Norwex party, I'd never hosted any other party before. And I often actually have that people will say, oh, I've never hosted a party before. I've always been, in quotation marks, against hosting a party, but with Norwex I will, because it's different. It is about sharing the mission. And I even talk about that when I'm doing my booking talk or my host stack, that I say to people, Norwex, you'll never see an ad on TV or in a magazine of Norwex, because we 100% rely on our hosts to help us to spread the message of Norwex. Many of you here today have never seen Norwex before, or possibly never even thought about the dangers of chemicals. But when we know better, we do better, right? So we're very grateful to our hosts for allowing us to share Norwex with their friends and family. And that's why Norwex's host reward system is so amazing. So really to help them to understand too that they are our business partners and that they are helping us to spread the mission, because I only know a handful of people, and then they know that next line of people that they are able to introduce me to, and I can help them to educate their friends about this life-changing product.
Beautiful. Okay. Excellent. Well, I think we've really established the why. You know, as you said, Zilly, you'd never hosted before. There's some people think I just need to open a packet of biscuits and put the kettle on, which, yeah, that's pretty much it. However, when we're wanting to really get great results for our host from their party, it really is about taking that time and that communication. And particularly for us, you know, we've announced that Mega Week is coming, and you know, I know I can see a few repeated names that were on our call yesterday on bookings. So I love this one because bookings and host coaching work hand in hand. So in terms of maxing out our opportunities for Mega Week, it's to get those dates in our diaries from our bookings conversation yesterday, and then to follow up with the actions of host coaching. So now, Delane, I'm going to ask you, honey, what are your actions for host coaching? What is it that you do in terms of your host coaching?
Okay, well, firstly, I ask every guest at the party if they'd like to host.
Love it.
I mean, you can't miss an opportunity. Yeah, sure, not everyone's going to say yes, of course, but there could be people there that are happy to host, and if you don't ask them, they may be too shy to put their hand up and come forward. So everybody gets asked, and you know, you get all sorts of excuses and reasons why they shouldn't, and that's okay. If ever it's a little awkward, and as sometimes it is, you know, with their reasoning, I just reply, hey, look, that's absolutely fine. I just like to ask all of my guests for the host, you know, so that we can maximise her rewards for the party, and they're happy with that explanation, and generally it's still a no, but that's fine. What I will then do is, when I've got some hosts, or at least one, ready to go, and you know, I get them from the steps that I mentioned before, I then have my party packs ready, and I will present each one with them, and I go through each one separately. So I spend time with each potential host, and the first thing we want is a date. Okay, really important to get that date, because at the end of the day, it's not really a booking if we don't have it. Sometimes it's not set in concrete because, you know, people need to go away and check things out, and that's absolutely fine. But I do explain that I do need a date to start with, and we can alter that if we need to. So that's the first thing. Then I will get the party pack, and I'll turn it over, I'll flip it over to the back, and go through everything there with them. So the first thing I always mention is, write down as many names here as you possibly can. And if you can fill that entire list, that's great, because, you know, history tells us that you'll probably get about a 50% strike rate. And of that 50%, you'll probably have a few drop off, you know, in the days leading up to, or even the day of the party. So people are quite happy with that. I think the number that I'm usually looking for is about 10. Mm-hmm. Having said that, you know, sometimes people are, you know, I don't know enough people, I would only be able to get a few. And I also say, hey, that's fine as well, because not everybody can get 10 people, let's face that, you know. So that's fine too. But that's kind of a little bit of an aim, what we're trying to achieve there.
Elaine, can I ask you, hun? So I mean, I'm a big fan of our party packs. I think they are an excellent tool for both the consultant and the host. And I love hearing you tell us that you, you know, get them to start their list. Do you do that with them at the party? Do you?
Definitely. I always have my party packs made up. I make sure I've got some before I go, and I'll go through it with them there at the party, because I want that date in my diary. You know, I don't want to really leave a party with, you know, a possibility here and a possibility there. I like to have it firm and complete before I leave. So we go through the names, and then I'll go through the Frankie list with them. I mean, some people, you just know, they are obviously very sociable, and you can sort of tell that they've got a wide circle of friends, and they've done this before, and it's probably not an issue to them at all. But some people aren't quite as social, and they are concerned about, you know, how they're going to get people to come. So the Frankie list is a really good way of doing that. And then, of course, you'll get people say, oh, if you have a party, I'll come. If you have a party, I'll come. So, you know, straight away I'll say to them, there, look, you've got 3 already. You're on the board, you know, and just sort of reassuring them that they can do that. Plus I find it really helpful, all that other information on the back there. You know, I say to them, if you're not sure what to say, look, here's some little ideas here. And if you're really stuck, just contact me and I can help you with, you know, getting your list together and getting people on board. One thing that I do say is that at some point I feel that they need to actually make personal contact with all of their guests. So especially a lot of the younger ones like to set up a Facebook event, which is very effective. But I have had, I've had times where I've got to the party and, you know, they could have 20 people coming because they've got 7 definites and 13 people said maybe, you know. At the end of the day, there's about 5 there. So I really think that we need to make a personal contact. A really good example of that is I've got a party tonight actually, and I texted the lady a couple of days ago to find, you know, just make sure everything was good and ask what her numbers were. And I didn't hear from her, so I rang her last night and she said her reply was, oh, look, I really don't know how many people I've got coming. I've had a few confirmed, but I've got some that haven't come back to me and I've got some that aren't sure. And so, you know, we're one day out from the party. So my advice to her was, look, if you can, sit down tonight with the phone and actually make a call to each of those people that you haven't heard from yet or don't have a definite answer from. Because that way, when we get to the party, we're not hanging around and waiting and wondering and then let's just start because she's obviously not coming, you know. Well, she may have missed the call or missed the message or, you know, got busy or forgotten. So I think it's really quite important to make that contact just prior to the party. So then I got a message from her later saying, yep, there's 5 plus me, 2 are going to let me know tomorrow and 3 I couldn't get hold of, but I've left messages. So straight away, I've got an idea of how many people are coming. I know how many books to take, and I can kind of plan a bit better for my party presentation, etc. Then we'll go inside, I'll flip the pack over and inside I always have a catalogue with my details on the back. I learnt from a long time ago where I didn't do that and they couldn't get hold of me. Some spare order forms, and I explained to them, look, there may be people that know Norwex and would love to order something but can't make it on the night. Let them look through the book and give them the order forms. And then I express the importance of having outside orders because they can really make or break a party. They can make all the difference, you know. Sometimes if we get a low turnout, just due to various, you know, reasons and circumstances, if they've got those 3 or 4 outside orders, it can really turn the party around and take it from being mediocre or small to being good. So I always make sure that they're aware of that. I pop in some invitations in there and explain to them that these are really good for people who you may not see on a really regular basis. Like if you're doing the school run every day and you're seeing, you know, 3 or 4 friends and you've invited them all and you can remind them as time goes by, that's fine. But for people that you might see, say, socially on a bi-weekly basis, give them one of those because if it's on their fridge, they're more likely to remember, you know, because people forget.
Yes.
Yeah, and then also there's the other side of the coin for that invitation is that it can be noticed by other people that pop in and, you know, what's this? Oh, are you having a party? Or are you going to party? Could I come or could I put an order in? You just never know who's going to see that. So I love the invitations. I think they're great. Opportunity booklet I always pop in there just so that they can, you know, peruse that and we can take that further. And always usually a kitchen cloth, always a free gift. And I explain again when I'm talking to them, because, you know, if this is somebody's first time to party, I've just bombarded them with so much information about different products and things that they've probably forgotten by now that this is the one that you use to wipe down your surfaces in the kitchen just with water. So I just go through that again and explain again what it's for and encourage them to take it home, use it, see how great it is, and then you can share that information with the guests that you're inviting to your party.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jelaine. That's some great advice there. Dulcie did ask whilst you were chatting away, which was lovely, what you put in your party pack. So we covered off on catalogues, order forms, invitations, and a gift as well. So that's pretty much it, hun?
Yeah. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, Kath, was I also encourage them to kind of look out for potential bookings from their party.
Yes.
So, do you know anyone that might be really keen to have one? And especially when, there's 3 or 4 that were coming, but suddenly they're not,
yes.
They're the ones that we can target to ask if they'd like to have a party. Sometimes, people, things just happen and they can't get there, but they really are interested. And, you can pick up party bookings that way.
Yeah, beautiful. Thanks, Jelaine. Now, Zelia, you have a little bit of a different slant that you take. I have to admit, I'm quite old school. I would be very similar to Jelaine. But what I'm loving about what Z does is incorporates all of these great new tools that Norwex has as well. So, Zelia, can you step us through getting the booking and then your actions to start the host coaching process?
Yep, absolutely. So as Jelaine also said, ask everyone. And, we heard a story a little while ago. It was actually 2 Norwex consultants who went to another party plan, and I have no idea who it is. So, who shared the story. So my apologies for that. But they were going to this party, and the one said to the other on the way to the party that she was going to book a party. So this is for a different party plan, right? On the way home, the other one said, well, you didn't book a party. And her response was, well, she didn't ask me to. So that story has always stuck with me, and I do ask everyone. So I do follow the 3-question close in a very natural, easy way. So, when someone comes to me with their order, I firstly ask whether they enjoyed the party, because that's your first yes that you're getting, and looking over their order with them. And as consultants, we do. Obviously, we know our catalog and we do know our kits. So I do look over the order with them and make sure that what they've ordered. Often people will order individual bits and pieces, and for very little more, maybe just a few dollars more, they actually could get a kit and give them a lot more value. I actually had it once that we had an oven cleaning pack on special, and the lady came over and ordered the individual bits. And when I pointed out the kit, she responded with, wow, I'm actually surprised that you pointed this out to me, because this is reducing the sales. And so, yeah, but that's not what it's about. It is about providing the service and giving you the best value. So going over that order with them and then asking them whether they got everything at the party that they were interested in. And often there you will get the response that, oh, there's lots that I want, but this is what I will start with, which leads you into that beautiful gap of going, well, how about you have your own party? Because that way we can get you a lot of free products, and you can always, expand on your list then.
Beautiful. So can I just stop you for 1 second, honey? Can I just take you back to that question that you asked? Let me know, please tweak me if I've got it wrong. So the question you ask is, did you get everything that you wanted today?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So did you get everything that you wanted today? And if they say, no, there's loads more on my list, that's when you can say, well, have you considered having a party? Is that how it rolls?
Right, yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. Excellent. Thank you.
And then, of course, the 3rd question would be whether they would like to take home some information about the business to become a consultant themselves. So your 3 questions are basically making sure that they've got the best value from their order, the booking questions, and the business opportunity questions. So, but in a very natural way, So once they do decide to have a booking or to have a party, we'll set the date. As Jelaine also said, a booking is not a booking without a date. So even if they do need to go back to their calendar and double check it, I explain to them that my dates book out really quickly, and I would much rather lock in a time for them. And if that doesn't work, they can always get in touch with me and we can change the date. 90% of the time that date sticks. So it really is just a matter of us locking in that date. And I do explain that we need to enter that date into the system for the host to get the benefit of the booking.
That's good.
Party pack, I'm not going to say too much about that. Jelaine covered it brilliantly. I do create the Photify invitation for my hosts. And, you know, the lovely thing about Photify is that you can save projects. So it takes me less than a minute, because really all you need to do is to change the address and phone number and the date of the party and your host's phone number. Yeah, phone number, I said. So it makes it really quick and easy. So once you've got it set up, it really is very quick, and it's a very, you know, simple app to be using. So I love that Norwex has partnered with Photify to make it easy for us. I also like to create a Facebook event for her.
Sorry, sweet. Can I just clarify, just so everyone's very clear? So Photify is an app that we have, and it's brilliant. So then you text that, do you, to the host, and then she can text it out to the people she's inviting.
That's right. And I do explain to her that this is a great way to get the information across to your friends once you've invited them and they've said that they are coming. So the text is not a cop-out that she can just text everyone on her list and they just receive the invitation. It really is almost the confirmation of, here's the details now that I've invited you. So just, again, emphasizing the fact that it's really important for her to actually invite those people, to talk to them, you know, that so that they can realize too, you don't want them there just as a bum on the seat, you know, just to make up numbers. You actually want them there. Because if you receive a text invitation from me and it's not even addressed directly to you, you just go, oh, I'm sure she's invited lots of other people too. Yeah, I wouldn't be bothered too much. But if I pick up the phone and say, hey, Kath, I just saw these awesome products and I would love for you to come to my party and see it too. I know you're going to love it, because you're going to come to her party, right? Yeah.
Again, it's that connection, isn't it?
Absolutely. Sure is. I do like to create their Facebook event for them. That way I can ensure that I'm creating it within our social media policy guidelines, but also I'm on the event. So I would create the event, add her as the co-host, but I can see what's happening on there. So that's really important to keep an eye on, because, you know, if you see she's booked a Saturday morning party and you have 4 of her friends going, sorry, kids sports, sorry, swimming lessons, sorry, we've got this on. You can reach out to her and say, look, it looks like it's not a great time for your group of friends, but you want to rather have it in the afternoon because that could work better for them, rather than just leaving it and her saying, oh no, it's not, I'm not going to have the party because I've got low numbers, because those excuses, in quotation marks, it's really that people aren't available to come. It's not that they don't want to come, they just have stuff on. I mean, you can't get out of swimming lessons or cricket matches. So you know, often changing the time will then result in a much better party for her. It also allows you the opportunity when someone declines that often they will say, but I'd love to look at the catalogue, and then I can jump in there, share the catalogue links, share the specials, and actually create a connection with that person who is not coming to the party, but I'm communicating with her direct.
Love it. Great. Excellent. So from there, we've got the Facebook event ticking along. The phone calls have gone out to invite them and then backed up with a Photify. So really what you're using is different ways to communicate, Zelia.
That's absolutely right. And also, if the party was booked and I didn't have my next month specials available yet, I would actually pop those in the mail for her. So I'm covering another method of communication. So yeah, sometimes we hear that a host had forgotten about her party. If we're communicating in all these ways, there's no way she can forget about her party, because you've spoken to her on the phone, you've sent her a text with the invitation, you've created the Facebook event, you've posted the specials. She's not going to forget about this party.
No, that's right. Brilliant. Thank you. Jelaine, back to you, hun. Now, once we've got the date and time is set, the party pack's out, she's got the invitations, she's got a list of people to invite. What's your next steps in your host coaching from there?
Okay, so I will, if I haven't heard from my host till about a week out, I will then text her And I just have a fairly generic text that I send, just touching base with each person, telling them I'm looking forward to seeing them again, and just making sure everything's tracking well for their party. And then, sorry, I just got
there we go.
flipped up on my screen.
Right.
So I just got sidetracked there for a sec. Yeah, so I will just say all those things. And I also say at the end, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And that is prompting a reply from them, because I want to hear back from them. I want to make sure that everything is ticking along nicely, that they haven't forgotten, and that they're not cancelling on me. So I give them 24 hours. If I haven't heard by the next day, I will then call them. And generally that works. Generally, I mean, usually they'll text back and it's all good. Occasionally, things don't go so well and I've got to almost stalk them to get hold of them. But I don't, because we're talking a week out or now 6 days out, I don't want to risk losing that date, because there's nothing more frustrating to me than, having a date that I can't fill.
Yes.
So sometimes I'll go onto Messenger and find them on there, and just think that perhaps they'll pick that message up. There could be reasons that they haven't picked my call or message up. When I'm really desperate, I might visit their house, go and knock on the door, just to make sure nothing sinister's happened. But
yes.
Also, sometimes I'll go back to the host that they booked from. I've done that a couple of times actually, and said, hey, look, I'm just having trouble getting hold of Julie or whoever. It's her party next week and I need to touch base with her, and it's just proving a little bit difficult. And, that works really well. They'll usually get hold of them straight away and I'll hear from them immediately, pretty much. Another thing I will do is towards the end of a month, I'll start looking into next month's bookings, because if I've got anything in there that has been made a little while ago, and, generally I have a pretty good turnaround of dates, but sometimes you get a group that you've been presenting for, and they get to the end of the little circle. Everyone's had a party, but the last person still wants to get the rewards. It's not fair for them to miss out. So somebody will often book for in a few months' time, when we're going to have some new products, or it's just before Christmas, so they can do some Christmas shopping or something like that. So I've just actually done that yesterday and started to touch base with people that I may, have had that booking for more than a couple of months, just to make sure that we're both, still on the same page there. Because then I can resell the date if they're not going to do it.
Yes. Now, I love your verbiage around this, Jelaine, and because you really look at it, it's seriously, a business to you. I can sell that date. Let me ask you though, when you talk about you turn them around pretty quickly. If I had a party today and you've got one tonight, so when are your next available dates?
Oh, for me?
Yes.
What? Do you want me to get my diary and have a look?
Oh, well, just give us a general idea. I mean, you can have a look in your diary, but if you were to, if I was to party today, or if I was to go to that party tonight.
Oh, okay. And so you were going to be booking a party with me?
Yes.
Oh, it's actually, I've got a couple next weekend that, I've got one actually, but after that we're sort of looking. I've got one on the 15th of November and then the 22nd and then the end of November.
But so your dates, would you book me within sort of 2 weeks is my question?
If I could. I can't at the moment because I'm fully booked.
Yes.
Through there. But what I will try and do is sell my next available.
Yes. Yeah. And it's that close dating, I think, that ticks the business along quite smartly. We talked about this yesterday in the bookings call. But in terms of host coaching, it makes life a lot easier when your host is excited and they're booked within 2 weeks or 20 days, or it's a quick turnover rather than months down the track.
That's right. Yeah, I don't often do the months down the track, but sometimes it just necessitates that. As I say, if it's a circle that's coming to an end,
sure.
And I don't want that particular host to miss out on anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's also good when I open my diary and they can see, and people do say, oh my goodness, you are pretty busy. And so it's kind of like, you know, then they need to find a date, you know, which is, can be a positive thing as well.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so 1 to 2 days prior, you're in touch as well, and this is your next message?
Yep, and so that's the second message after they've come back to me.
Oh, right, yes.
So everything's fine, and so I say, yep, I'll see you 30 minutes prior, and I'll check in with you closer to the time for numbers, and that's when I check in about 1 to 2 days prior, just to get the numbers, make sure that nothing's changed in that week, because sometimes things do.
Yep.
And you know, you get all sorts of responses. Sometimes it's kind of hard to sometimes to decide, like, yes, sometimes I found it much more beneficial just to change a date. I had once a lovely host, and she was a lovely lady, and I knew it was going to be a great party, but she actually rang me in tears and said, I just can't get anyone, I've got like 1 or 2, and she was distraught. And for her, it was as simple as changing the date. That's all it took. And then we had 17 people crammed into her lounge. I think that one was my biggest party ever, and it was a huge success, you know. Others, hey, look, as in one I did yesterday, she was really disappointed. She said, look, I think it's only going to be me and 2. I said, that's okay. I said, if you'd like, because it was a daytime one, I said, I can do it any day. We can change a day if you prefer. And she said, no, look, I want to get it done because everyone's busy and people are sick, and I just, you know, I want to do it. If it's okay, I'd like to do it today. I said, yep, no problem at all. Went along thinking, oh, you know, bit of a shame. But, you know, $900 in sales, and one of them pre-booked. So you just have to go with the flow sometimes.
That's right.
And it is what it is.
That's right. Exactly. Excellent. Thank you, Delane. Zelia, now we've got the Photify invites, we've got the Facebook event. What's your next steps in terms of host coaching, hun?
So my next step is to call them about 5 to 6 days before their party. So if it's parties on Saturday, I'll call them on Monday, just to have a chat about the party. But I love that actual phone call, because, you know, from a text message, I can't really pick up how she's feeling about it all, but in her voice, I can pick that up. So if you hear that she's feeling a little bit scattered, you probably know that she hasn't done too much about the party. But that phone call is also a really good action step, you know, for her to actually start taking action now. But you can also hear in her voice if she's a little bit worried that she hasn't had very many responses. I actually met with a consultant this morning, and we had that exact situation that she's got a party tomorrow, spoke to the host last week, and the host wanted to cancel because she only had 2 people coming. And she's, you know, new consultant, so I was very proud of her. And she said, look, let's just see how we go. We keep the date, but, you know, we'll chat again closer to the time. And that lady now has 9 people coming. So often it's, you know, they're feeling a little bit worried the week out because they haven't had many RSVPs. But by you saying, look, even if we have 2 people, I'm still happy to come and show you the products, they realize, okay, she's not going to let me off the hook here. And then they actually will start inviting more people. So, yeah, that call can be 30 seconds. And it's almost never that it's more than 2 minutes. I love that it's a quick call. It's not taking up a big block of my time, but it is me talking to my host and just, again, building on that relationship. So, you know, once I've spoken to her, I don't really need to actually have another physical phone call conversation with her. So I would just text her the day before, as Jelaine does as well, just for final numbers. And I do clarify so that I can bring enough catalogs with me so that they know why I'm looking for numbers, that it's not for me just about the numbers. I'm telling them why I need the numbers.
Beautiful.
I also send them, I've mentioned that I do post the specials, but I also send them a little text image. And this is just a special offer that I have, that if they have 10 orders, so that's attending guests plus outside orders, I'm going to give them a little free something as a bonus. Because that really sets the expectation, you know, going back to the start of our conversation where people don't know what you're expecting of them. And that's why host coaching is so important. So if I send her that special offer to say, hey, just a little bonus offer from me, if you have 10 orders, I'm going to give you this as a special bonus. They know that the expectation is that we're going to have 10 orders, people plus outside orders. So that sets this expectation to invite more people, because she doesn't know, like, what are you expecting? 2 or 3 people, 5 to 8 people, 10 people? What is your expectation here? And unless we as the expert in the field, you know, knowing more than what she does, unless we actually share that expectation with her, but obviously in a nice way, in a bonus offer type way, then she knows what you're expecting as well. And again, that just clarifies everything for her and helps her to feel confident, because if she knows what the expectation is, that gives her extra confidence in the party as well.
Yes, yeah, that's right. That's right. Excellent. Now, Zelia, you've been with Norwex for quite some time. 10 years. Have you racked up 10 years now?
10.5, that's right. Yeah.
10.5, goodness me. So no doubt on your Norwex journey, you have ridden the roller coaster as our business does. And you made a tweak in your business a couple of years ago, I understand, with your host rewards.
That's right, yes. I actually had a run of 4 cancellations in October of 2017 it was. And that's when I spoke to the then top seller, Lisa Peacock, and I said, okay, you need to help me here. What are you doing that is making you so successful? And she told me that I don't really like calling it hold back host rewards. I prefer to call it presenting the host rewards at the next party, because that sounds a lot better. So, but yes, that's when I implemented that system, and no one queried me on it. I just started explaining to hosts. So stars 1 and 2, which is your number of buying guests, rewards, and your host credit will come with the delivery. Your star 3, the window cloth, and star 4, which is the product pack, that will go to the first party, because for star 4, you need 1 booking. So I'll present that at the first party. Your bathroom scrub mitt will go to the second party, and the mop will go to the third party. And no one ever questions that. They just go, oh, okay, because that just makes sense. A lot of party plan work like that. So I never found that anyone challenged me, anyone was unhappy about the way I did it. That initial explanation was just, look, I've changed things the way it works in my business, and still no one queried it. It was just, they just went with it. Now no one even asks a question about it. That's just the way I explain it to them. But that actually enables me, when I have a cancellation, to go back to the previous host and say, hey, Sally's cancelled her party. Is there anyone else who would like to have a party, or would you like to have another one? Because I do have your host rewards, and I'm quite upfront with that. I do have your host rewards with me, but I can't give it to you unless we actually have a party. And often I'll find then either the host will find a replacement booking, or she'll have another party with a different theme. And the great thing is that we have so many party themes that we can offer a different type of party for her. And that enables her to invite the same friends, but most of the time you'll have other people there as well, which again introduces you to people who haven't seen Norwex before.
And that's the beauty of Safe Haven 5 and the Journey Kits is what you've got in place there. But also, I love that you've done that. As an independent consultant, the choice is yours. It's not a have to. It's purely, we're here on this call seeking advice from our number 1 seller in New Zealand and in Australia, and that is simply what Zelia does. So thank you for sharing that with us, and the difference that it's made to your business as well. Now, another question. Let's take let's come up with a bit of a different scenario. Let's say, for example, because I have to say, ladies, you have painted a beautiful picture of easy flowing host coaching, excellent outcomes, nice full diaries, and it all comes across as just textbook success to me in terms of this business. So let me ask you a question. What happens when you get, like, can I put it like this, a sympathy booking? You know, when say Julie says, oh, look, I'll have a party if it means Mandy can get her mop or her whatever it is. I'll have a party. How do you coach that? How do you really engage that host? How do you ensure the success of that party with somebody who is, as I say, in putting up my quotation fingers and saying a sympathy booking?
Well, I would firstly recognize what an awesome friend she is for booking the party and thank her again for helping Mandy to get that mop for free.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd go to, so Julie, what is it that you enjoyed about the party? What part of Norwex actually stood out to you? And I think then the challenge is to really keep quiet, because when she doesn't respond immediately, we're quick to jump in with examples.
Mm-hmm.
So to give her the opportunity to respond, because that response is really key. Whether she says she liked the products, whether it was about the environment, whether it was just fun spending time with the friends, that response is going to indicate to you what her trigger is, the thing that makes her tick. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I can focus on that. So let's say she says, I love the fact that Norwex is helping to reduce chemicals. It's good for the environment. Then I can go to, well, I'm really grateful that you are booking a party. Who are the friends who you think would be interested in also seeing products that would, support the environment, create a healthier, safer home environment? Those people who are already really passionate. Who can you think of who are already really passionate about reducing chemicals? And then also, which people do you think haven't even really given this much thought? Because again, people don't know what they don't know. So who is there in your group of friends that we need to educate about this? Now, I've just covered 100% of people that she knows because it's people who already are passionate and people who don't know yet. That just covers everyone else, doesn't it? Yeah. So it's finding the thing that is going to make the party worth it for her. Yes, she's doing her friend a favor, but now that we've got that, we need to find out what is the thing that's going to get her invested in this party, because just helping Mandy get the mop is not quite sufficient to have a successful party. We need to get her on board. And it really is that conversation to find out what is the thing that she loved about it, and then to expand on that.
Yes, beautiful. Anything to add to that, Jelaine?
I think Z's covered it pretty well there, Kath. Just find out what it is that she does want from the party, and see if we can just work on that. I think, arguably, Norwex has the most generous reward scheme in direct selling. I'm pretty convinced of that. Mm-hmm. And so, I just try and turn it around as a positive. Hey, at the end of the day, all these wonderful rewards are available and I can help you get these, I guess, I'm working for her. So I want it to be successful for her. And even although she's just having it as a favour to a friend, I kind of want her to see that actually, she stands to gain quite a bit out of this. Yes. And who knows where that can lead. She could end up being a team member.
That's right. Exactly right. Maybe she's your first red jacket, Jelaine.
Wouldn't mind getting one myself first.
Yeah, that's right. All right, so to recap, everyone, let's just take a moment to recap what we've shared today. So the first one is to invest the time in host coaching. So as Zelia said, it doesn't take very long, but the rewards are far outweigh the time that you will invest in your host coaching. Don't be shy about it either. Pull up those big girls' undies and have that conversation, because your host is looking for guidance from you. So be brave and have those conversations about directing her outside orders, outside bookings, all of that goes with the host coaching process. Support a great outcome by ensuring the host knows what to do. I love Zelia's incentive that she sends out saying, when you have 10 orders at your party, you will receive an extra gift from me. So that's a really great way to give that direction as well. Remembering that not everyone lives in the Norwex world that you do or I do. We all are on varying levels. So it's about keeping that party top of mind and the actions top of mind as well. And it also setting those expectations. It's really crucial that that your host has a good understanding of what is expected. And even saying, look, I've done parties over the years. I walked into, there's one specifically I remember, I walked into this lady's home and seriously, her dining room table was groaning under the weight of food that she had prepared for her party. So even just to coach to that, to say, everyone's on a diet these days, or feel free to keep it simple, because they're really there to see the products, as well as socialise. But and then I've had another situation where there were so many people. There was about 15 people at a party. It was actually my sister's party, and I just didn't get the feeling that I was going to get a booking. And so at the end, I simply said, oh, look, all you need is 2 friends, 2 hours in the next 2 weeks to have yourself a party. Well, with that, a girl called Deb piped up and said, yep, I'll book one then. And afterwards I said to Deb, why did you decide to book? And she said, my house is very small. I just don't have the room to have that amount of people in my home. But when you offered me an alternative situation, that worked great for me. So again, setting those expectations with her of then how she can build her party, even with not low numbers. But see, even look at Jelane's situation of 3 people and 900 in sales and a booking. That's still a great return. But yeah, it's allowing people to see what's available to them. Also, in recapping action, so set the date and time. As both of our fabulous leaders have said today, it's not a party until the date is set, because in the system, in our Norwex system, you need to put in the party date. So it's key to processing the existing party as to what the future bookings are. Use of the party pack and maximising it. Look, if you're buying them already and getting them in your consultant rewards, don't let them collect dust. Really put them to work. That Frankie list on the back is brilliant, as is the language about how to invite people. Your contact details at a quick, easy, grab that envelope and your host can contact you at any time. So your party pack is gold in terms of really giving direction. It's got the 3 steps on it as to how to host a successful party. Using other tools such as Facebook and Photify are great supports as well. And it offers that communication in various ways. So be aware of that with your host coaching as well, that you're not, another situation I had, I kept ringing a host and not getting any answer at all. I was trying to host coach her, and I was simply using the phone, and in the end I had the wrong number, but nobody was answering that phone. So it's key that you are communicating in other ways to ensure that you're covering the bases of getting that communication across. Timely communication as well. This is absolutely gold. If you're calling 7, 6, 5 days before the party and she hasn't even got her invitations out yet, that's okay. There's still time to ensure that this party goes ahead, because you've because you've had that conversation, because you've brought her back to having the party, and she can get those invitations happening. If you leave that until 1 to 2 days before, that party will flop. She'll just get bums on seats if you're lucky. But so please invest the time, diarise it if you need to ensure that you're having that call about a week before. Maximising your host rewards. Zelia does it one way, others do it in other ways, but if you choose to hold back on your host rewards, then that could be your choice as well. And of course, ensuring that you that host invites the previous host, because you want to do that host reward presentation, as Zelia explained as well. So lots covered today, absolute jam-packed session on host coaching, and think this has been a very powerful call. So I've got a bit of a challenge here too. So take a shot of this screenshot or whatever you like, to make host coaching a priority in your Norwex life. Contact your upcoming hosts as well and find out what it is that they're wanting from their party, and really having that mindset of being of service, that you are there to get them the best outcome that you possibly can with the tools that Norwex has given you. Now, just quickly, if anyone's got any questions, please type away. If there's anything that you would like us to talk about before we finish up, please type away and we can cover that for you. In closing though, Jelaine, what would be your final advice when it comes to host coaching?
I don't know if it's advice. It's just a bit of a conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
But look, create a connection with your host. Although we are, by and large, looking for positive outcomes, that's what it's about, sometimes the smallest parties are equally as rewarding. It's not always about big numbers and big sales. It can simply just be about the connection. Some hosts actually become lifelong friends and or team members. So, treasure that, because that's gold. And I think personally, a hug from a host at the end is the measure of a great party.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. Thank you, Jelaine. Zelia, how about you? And what have you got for us as your last pearls of wisdom on this topic for today?
I think, especially for newer consultants listening to this call, it may sound, oh my goodness, that is so much to do. So I just want to encourage you on that it really only takes a few seconds. Maybe the first couple of times that you're doing it, it's going to take a little bit longer because you're wanting to figure out your verbiage. I mean, we can provide you with sample verbiage, but you still want to make it yours. But once you've got those messages, you can save it to the notes on your phone and pretty much just copy it and then personalize it a little bit for each host. But, Jelaine referenced to that it is pretty much a template that you are using. And once you're in that nice little routine, it doesn't take that much thinking about it or time about it. It just is part of your routine doing your parties. And of course, on the MCO, there's a brilliant host coaching checklist as well. So initially, use that checklist. You're going to find after the first 3 that you've done, it is just part of what you do. But use that checklist on the MCO to, when you get started with host coaching as well, to just help keep you on track.
Beautiful. And lastly, please, everyone, remembering that Norwex is a relationship business. Our products can't grow little feet and go into somebody's home and do the cleaning for them, because a lot of consultants say to me the product sells itself. Well, I don't necessarily believe that. It is the connection and the communication that we have with people. And when it comes to really great success from your parties, host coaching is the best investment that you can make. Jelaine, thank you so much for your time with us today. We really appreciate you being on the call and sharing your expertise with us. And Zelia as well, you're both very busy women in your businesses and in life, but we really appreciate you being on this call and investing in the rest of us with what you've had to share today. So thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Kath.
Thank you, everyone. Please be aware that these will be turned into recordings of webinars as well as podcasts. So if you want to listen to them in the car whilst you're on the way to a meeting or a party, etc., then feel free to do that on the podcast with the podcast link. So we'll get that out to you as soon as we possibly can. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today, and have a sensational rest of your day. Thank you, and bye-bye.
Bye.